to my phone, which is usually pretty accurate. So I just want to say again, good afternoon to everyone, and welcome everyone to this meeting, especially all of our elected officials here. Just want to say thanks for coming, and also our department heads for being here, and our staff that are kind of driving this meeting, and of course all the citizens that are invested in your local government. So thank you for being here this afternoon. Just a quick note on cell phones. Again, just if you don't mind to turn those off or put them on vibrate, that would be helpful. All right, so this is the July 11th, 2023 Hardin County Fiscal Court regular voting meeting. And let's begin and call this meeting to order. All right, let's have a roll call.
Squire Clem? Here. Squire Hicks? Here. Squire Muse? Here. Squire Pennington? Here. Squire Saltzman? Here. Squire Thompson? Here. Squire Whitehead?
Here.
Squire Yates? Judge Tall?
Here. Next, we'll have our invocation by Magistrate Aaron Pennington and the Pledge of Allegiance, Magistrate Patsy Whitehead.
Father God, thank you for today. Thank you for the ability to come here and gather as a body and allow us to do your work, Father. I ask that you would continue to be with our county, our first responders, and all those that are citizens in this county. Father, just continue to bless us in our decision-making, Father, and allow us to do what is right by you. Father, I ask all this in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, so thanks again for joining today and participating. I don't really have a lot of comments other than I'll just kind of review a quick review of the agenda. Fairly simple agenda comparatively, I guess, today. We'll look at and approve the fiscal court minutes from the last meeting. We will have 3 presentations from planning and engineering and road department. There'll be an opportunity for any citizens' concerns or comments. Then we'll have 1 ordinance. We'll have the first reading of this ordinance. And then we will have our consent agenda, which I'll go through and explain what's in that. And then our comments at the end. So that covers the agenda. So we'll move on to the next item. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
So moved.
Second. Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yes.
Squire Muse?
Yes.
Squire Pennington?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
Yes.
Squire Thompson?
Yes.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Judge Tall?
Yes. Motion passes. All right. Next, we have our department and office reports. The first one is planning by Adam King.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, I've got the May and June reports from the Planning Commission. All right, so first, this was a zone change. Kevin Cottrell down at 6804 South Dixie in Glendale. The request was from the R2 to the C1 zone, merging a piece of property there with what's known as Grandma's Bluegrass Kitchen. Mr. Cottrell proposes a 4,800 square foot retail building there. This project will be connected to Water District Number 2's sewer system. Another zone change also in Glendale. This is Benny's Barn LLC. They requested a zone change as well as a couple variances from road frontage and the width to length ratio. Downtown Glendale, everything doesn't always fit the requirements of the zoning ordinance. So this zone change was approved. Essentially what it's going to allow Mr. Lush to do there is to create a new vacant lot in behind West Point Bank for a potential commercial project. And this project will also connect to Hardin County Water District Number 2 sewer. Another zone change, again, also in Glendale. We are at 4911 South Dixie. This was Mr. Jonathan Myers' zone change request from R2 to C1. This was going to allow for him to create a 4-spot RV park there near his home and the road, and this zone change was approved. And again, lastly, another zone change also in Glendale. This is at the corner of Gilead Church Road, South Dixie Highway, and bordered by I-65. This zone change request was from the industrial holding zone to the general commercial C2 zone with no project proposed at this time, a 27.86 acre site, and whatever ended up getting proposed here would connect to Water District Number 2 sewer system that runs along the northern property line. Looking at an item that went before the Board of Adjustment, Mr. Jess Cleary. This is out 62 headed towards Boston. This property has always been zoned commercial, and he got a conditional use permit here, that white block building, to allow for an automotive repair shop. This was VH Properties. This is the former Leo McMillan site up off Shepherdsville Road. And VH Properties, they operate Absolute Services. They needed a variance from a setback to allow for a proposed warehouse building where industrial property adjoins residential property. There's a 100-foot setback. They needed to be approximately 50 feet, and they were approved. And I think the last item here from the Board of Adjustment, conditional use permit for an asphalt plant. Scotty's Contracting in Stone is expanding their existing operation there at the quarry in Upton, and this request for a conditional use permit was approved. Again, anticipating even more development on the south end of the county as well as, of course, at Glendale. Looking at our land use applications for May and June, we did 7 conditional use permits. We reviewed 5 development plans, 15 subdivision plats, and also took 3 variance applications. Looking at plats and lots, 35 plats have been recorded for the year. How that compares with 2022 was we were at 46. Looking at the number of new lots created, 16 new lots for the year. At this time in 2022, we were at 32. And then looking at the various types of permits, 951 total permits for the year. That is down from 1,037 at this time in 2022. Single-family dwellings, so you'll notice a good jump there in June. Thus far for the year, we've done 53 new homes and then also 6 duplexes. How that compares with 2022, we were at 58 new homes. Various inspections. Final inspections for May and June, 132 in May, 108 in June. And then still got projects just getting started with 35 footers in May and 30 in June. And then lastly, my staff and I attended the spring conference for the Kentucky chapter of the American Planning Association, of which I'm the president. And Haley and I gave a presentation on Glendale titled Glendale, Kentucky from Railroad Beginnings to an Electric Vehicle Future. So the photo on the left there just shows we were presenting to a packed house. Most folks, it was at Barren River Lake, so most folks had traveled down I-65 to get there. Everybody was curious about what was going on. So that's all I've got. Any questions?
No question, but a great report as usual. And I just want to express how fortunate we are in Hardin County to have you at the head of our planning office. And thank you, Adam, for everything you do.
I appreciate it.
It's a hard job, a hard job.
Yeah, I too appreciate you, Adam. all the hard work that you do. Hopefully it's all appreciated, but thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Next up is engineering, Stephanie Givens.
Good afternoon, Judge and Magistrates.
Good afternoon.
We have the engineering, solid waste, and code enforcement updates. On your 2023 erosion sediment controls for May and June, there was 121 for May, 133 for June. The annual erosion sediment control inspections year to date is 832 so far, and you can see in the last few years how it compares. We're probably about halfway through where we should be at the end of this year as well. The notice of violations and stop work orders for May and June, we had 3 with NOVs first time, none for the second time, and none for the stop work orders, which was really good. The annual notice of violations and stop work orders, we had 5 and 0, and this is the comparison year to date. The public concerns will be on drainage, erosion concerns, floodplain permitting, new construction, and sinkholes. Within those responses, we have public response calls, and so far for May, we had 4, and June, we had 8. The rainfall that we've had, of course, I'm sure everybody knows it's been really high for this month of June, but May we had 3.9 and June 6.57, so it was almost double what we had in May. Here's a slide rainfall average versus the actual. So the average for around this time for June is 4.35, and we were up 6.57. Code enforcements for May and June activities. There was 18 cases received within the month of May, 15 cases were closed, left 41 cases still outstanding. In the month of June, we had 14 new cases, 20 cases was closed, and we still have 38 outstanding cases. On the shredding event totals so far for this year, for May, we had 42 vehicles and 46 bags brought in. In June, we had 36 and 36. So the year-to-date was 146 vehicles and 158 bags of shredding we've done in the first 6 months of this year. Our free dump day, the first one we had was May 13th. We had 266 cars with 146.3 tons that was brought in. The recycling totals for May and June, we had 37 trailer runs to Meade County in May and 28 trailer runs in June. And you can see there the breakdown of the different items that's collected within the recycling trailers on where we are. For upcoming events, our next shredding event is going to be August the 1st at 501 Bacon Creek Road, which is down at the road department. That'll be from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. only. We have household hazardous waste coming up, and that will be on August the 12th this year from 8 to 2, and this is located at Matulsa, which is also another free event provided to our citizens. And last but not least, we have Free Dump Day coming up Saturday, September the 9th. That'll be our last one for this year. We do one in the spring and in the fall, so this will be it until the following spring of next year. And it's from 7 to 1 on that Saturday at Pearl Hollow. Any questions?
I'd like to just, I guess, clarify. I noticed notice of violations. There were several, but no stop work orders. So that should indicate that what's happening is people hear from you and then make the correction.
Yes,
And
they had
that's a good
contacted
thing.
us and they went ahead and made the changes of what they needed to do, and it was over at that time.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. I know you've had your hands full the last 2 or 3 weeks. You've done a great job, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
I thank you also, Stephanie. The phone calls quit coming in, and people seem very satisfied now, and I know you had a task ahead of you, and congratulations. Seems like you've pretty much got that straightened out. So Thank you.
Hopefully so. We're still moving in a forward progress, but it is moving much better than where we were. Every day is a new day, and it's hard to get people and employees in. Nobody really signs on to be the trash person. That's a really hard job, so they struggle a lot to get that in, as well as all the haulers do.
Exactly. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess as an update, do you want to, I think there's been, like you said, some great strides with our garbage collection, with Platform, our hauler, and, been through really about a month without any issues. And then recently we had a day that they weren't able to get a route completed in the Rineyville area. And then they made up for that the next day, but then they were still having some personnel problems and a little bit of equipment problems. So I think White Mills, there was a few people that didn't get theirs picked up, but they picked those up this morning. And I think today they've got all their trucks out. As far as I know, everything's going quite well, and they'll be caught up again. But I hate it for the citizens that don't get their trash picked up on the day they're supposed to. There's really no excuse. It's up to this company to perform and to find the people they need to find, have the equipment that they need to have. And so we are working very closely with them to make sure that is going in a positive direction. And I really believe it is. We want to work things out with this company, and they'll end up being a better company, and they'll be a really good one that we can count on, is the hope that will happen. If not, we'll have to make a change. But right now, I feel like they'll be able to do what they need to do. And so I know Stephanie is spending a lot of her time continuing to work with them and continuing to stay on top of that. So I appreciate what you do, Stephanie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And if you all have any concerns or calls that have come in, please forward them to me. I'm handling each phone call and each email that I get personally, so if they call in, we'll definitely get back with them to give them an update if they haven't seen it on our social media pages.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is our road department, Dwight Morgan.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
It's Fair Week, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
We got some pretty weather right now, so hopefully we'll keep some of that for a while. So, all right, I've got your May and June report from the road department. Your encroachment permits were up from last year. Road signs we're down on our new, which is a good thing. Repaired, we're up one. We're about even, so that's all good. Other, we are down in that particular category. Daily work activities remain the same. We have gotten back to somewhat to our total patching when we can. Outside of little storms that we've had here just as of late, it's basically been everybody hands on deck. So, but beginning Monday, July 17th, we get our prisoners back, inmates, if you will, that we've been without for the last 2 years. So I really appreciate Josh's effort to get those back with us. We do have one person that's going to be over those inmates, and they'll be doing a multitude of different projects, but primarily it's going to be taking care of the potholes out on our county roads. They'll also they'll be doing a lot of a hot mix patches, which are a lot more permanent. So those complaints that we've been getting, which they have come way down over the last, compared to 3 years ago. So, but you're going to hear less of that, hopefully. So, our mow trimming, we continue to do that every day, which is very important. Here's your list of roads that were resurfaced in the month of May and June. I'm going to go over the next page, which is the real indicator. We had 38 roads in those 2 months. Over 22 miles of county roads repaved, which is basically equivalent to 3 years worth prior to COVID money or ARPA money, what we would get paid in a year. So that's all the funding that we had available. So this is a huge success for Hardin County. Some of the work activities, we got some new equipment in. Our roadside mower that was delivered, we were having training done here on this particular day. Most of the department was there. Those that were going to be operating were there. They got a chance to operate the piece of equipment. This far surpasses what equipment we've had in the past. So you really, if you get an opportunity and you have some time, I'll be glad, one of us will be glad to take you out and actually show you this piece of equipment in operation. It's pretty amazing. Setting in the cab, the noise level, it's a lot less. It's just head and shoulders above what we've had. So this is another new piece of equipment that was approved in fiscal court. This is a pipe jetter that we use to clean out culverts. This is at the Pearl Hollow landfill. These were completely stopped up. We used a lot of water getting these unstopped, but we're also trying some different nozzles that are available for this piece of equipment. They have a multitude of different nozzles depending on. This particular piece of equipment is also used in sewer lines. So there's all types of different heads, and what works in sewer lines don't necessarily work in our situation. So we've kind of had gone through some different heads on this for this particular piece of equipment. The sales rep has come down. He's been very helpful in our training. And overall, it's pretty much a success story, if you will. Next photo that you see, this is just one of many, but this is one of your important cell tower locations for 911. This is a road that got blocked, and one of the trees that we had to get cleaned up and get that removed. So if there was an emergency where they had to get into that cell site, they could do so. But that's just one of the many trees. We spent about 6 to 7 days just hauling, removing trees from the EF2 tornado. Plus, we had some other storms as well. So we've had a lot of storm damage, but I think most of all that has gotten cleaned up. We had some that was left on James Duval. Also, that road was repaved. We had to leave it for a few days, let that asphalt firm up before we got on it with some heavy equipment. So, but I think it's gotten all removed now. So I think we're kind of caught up and we're moving on to other jobs. So, any questions?
Thank you, Dwight. I know you've been working hard, so thank you.
The guys have. My whole department had.
A general question.
Yes.
In thinking about the roads that we have paved and sort of calculating what's spent, it's costing about $80,000 a mile.
That's correct.
So if we
75,
pave
80.
a mile of road, it's around $80,000.
That's right.
And our funding has been much better because of having the funds from our federal government, and we're not likely to have the ability to pave as much in the coming year as we've done this year. But you've worked hard to make sure that we've established priorities and deal with the roads on a rating scale that allows for the one that has the most need to be dealt with first. And I just want to commend you for that, you and your crew.
Well, thank you. We've got about, now that's kind of funny you ask or say anything about that, but I got off the phone with Lisa about an hour ago, our treasurer, and we were trying to come in on zero in on a number. We got about $1.5 million, and we've got roads that have been identified to do. So in addition, we also have a couple bridges that we're bringing a bridge in from last year that didn't get done, and also a bridge that we're going to do in-house like we did on Thomas Road. So we've got roughly about $400,000 we're going to need for those two projects. So we've got, in total, we've got about $1.9 million and some change, if you will, for those two bridges and whatever remaining roads we can do out of the balance of that.
Dwight, I just wanted to comment too on the next day after the EF2 tornado. Ran on the way in here, came up on one of your crews, and you know, so I was just stopped and talking to him about it, and you know, one of them had been up till 4 a.m. you know, working that area, and then he was out there, you know, the next morning, still working on the road. So I just want to, you know, commend your team, you know, that they are you know, for their dedication and getting out there and working on all this. It's been a lot of work, a lot of wind and storm damage in our county, and you still have the responsibilities of fixing potholes and everything else that's going on. Yeah. So just wanted to please tell your crew that they are appreciated for that commitment. Also, while you're up here, if I could get you, one of the items in our consent agenda today is regarding the Needham Road Bridge, and how we had gotten bids for that, but we decided to reject those bids and maybe and start over again. Did you want to just make a comment about that?
So the bids came in way over budget, and one of our vendors was kind enough to add another option on one of their bid packets, and I had some concern with using concrete beams because of the weight of those beams. Over on Laurel Ridge, which is just a few miles upstream, those beams, I think if I remember correctly, they weighed around 38,000, 40,000 pounds. So the crane that they set those with, they had 500,000 pounds of counterweights. When that piece of equipment came in on our road, and this was before it was paved, it buckled the asphalt. So that was a major concern. These two roads, Needham and Laurel Ridge, both have been repaved. So I had a concern on bringing another crane in of that size and using the concrete beams like we used on the Laurel Ridge project. But these beams are going to weigh less. They're going to be in the mid-20s. The crane to set them with will be less weight. And we also are adding a responsibility on the bidder to provide a bond for the road. So we've gone back. We actually had a conference call today between our engineer, Charlie Allen, and the other engineer that's working on the bridge, Brad Spalding, and we discussed the new bid that was going to go out with the addition of the bid bonding and the addition of the third option using the concrete beam. So I feel like we should see a significant reduction in the cost of this bridge. So I think it's going to be well worth it. I'm expecting well over $100,000 in savings. So we'll see.
All right, that's a good story. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dwight.
Thank you.
Okay, there are some written reports from Animal Control, Emergency Management that were in the packets. Okay, next is any citizens' concerns or comments as they relate to any of these specific agenda items that we have on the agenda today. Anyone have any comments that they want to share with us today? Okay, seeing none, then we will move on to the next item. We have a first reading of ordinance number 335, series 2023. This is to establish the updated geographic boundaries for magisterial districts in Hardin County. Hardin County, we had a reapportionment commission, as headed up by our clerk here, that did, I think, an outstanding job of working through it. They studied the districts and the census data from 2020 and basically moved about 1,800 people or residences. Is it residences or people?
Individuals.
Individuals from District 8, which is Magistrate Muse's district, and they moved about 1,300 of those to District 7, which is Magistrate Hicks, and about the remaining 500 or so people to District 1, which was it's Magistrate Yates' district. And by doing that, they redistributed, and it's all good with this current proposal that they have here, of which we'll be voting on today, at least the first reading of it. All right, so is there a motion to approve this first reading of this ordinance number 335, series 2023?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and second. Any further discussion regarding this reapportionment? All right, hearing none, we'll have a roll call.
Squire Clem.
Yes.
Squire Hicks.
Yes.
Squire Muse.
Yes.
Squire Pennington.
Yes.
Squire Saltzman.
Yes.
Squire Thompson.
Yes.
Squire Whitehead.
Yes.
Judge Tall.
Yes. Motion passes. All right, the next area here, we have consent agenda. Just a look through here, we have a claims batch, is basically where we're paying our bills in July so far. We have a resolution that Dwight Morgan just gave us kind of an update on, where we rejected all the bids for this bridge deck replacement for Needham Road. And in the process, we hope to save a whole lot of money by doing that. And so that's in here. We want to look at an approval for resolution 2023-143, and this is related to some financial transfers, of which one of the transfers is for the jail, transferring money, about $250,000 to the jail to pay their bills. And then all the rest of it pretty much was due to changing banks to West Banco, and so all that work, not all of it necessarily, but a big chunk of that work is handled through this resolution. The next 5 or 6 resolutions all deal with basically employee type of personnel issues and different things that are happening. Several with hiring, some promotions that are within our new budget, some full-time to part-time, etc. So those are resolutions 144 all the way through 149. The next two resolutions, 150 and 151, they are dealing with the Water Board District Number 2 and some changing of some commissioners. 150 is related to the appointment of Daniel Fieser to the Hardin County Water District Number 2 Board for a term beginning tomorrow, July 12th, through June 30th of 2024. So it's a one-year term. It's basically to Mr. Mo Miller had an unexpired term of a year, and I do want to say publicly a thank you to Mr. Miller for his service on this board. I don't personally know him, but every person I talk to has had very impressive remarks for his service on this board and for this county. So I just want to publicly make sure that I say something about that. So thank you, Mr. Miller. The next one was 151, and this is related to an appointment of Brian Woosley as Commissioner to the Board of Hardin County Water District 2, effective July 1st, backwards July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2027, so a four-year term. Also, I've had really great comments about Mr. Woosley and his experience in working with the Water Board District 2, so he comes in already knowing a whole lot, short learning curve for sure, and he has a background in finance, CPA, and he's going to bring a wealth of knowledge to that board. So we have both of those in there, and then finally we have some the Finance Committee meeting minutes and the Public Works Committee meeting minutes that they from those meetings in June. So that's what's in the consent agenda today. Is there a motion to approve?
Judge, I'd like to first say thank you. You were very timely and brought very detailed information to us regarding those selections of the Water Board Commissioners.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I certainly appreciate that very much. Have great confidence that each of these will do a great job. And that being said, I would make the motion that the consent agenda be approved.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Second. All right, any discussion about any of this before we vote?
Judge, I will comment on Mr. Miller, who served a long time. I've known Mo for many years since been in this community. His financial expertise and his vision for this community and his dedication is second to none. And we owe him a debt of gratitude, and he's set of big shoes to fill right there.
It certainly does, and I've spoken with Mike Bell, who happens to be out here with us today, and chairman of that board, and he's knows that Mr. Miller is going to be missed, and so we really thank him for what he's done. Any other discussion? Was there? Okay, so we'll go ahead and have a roll call.
Squire Clem?
Yes.
Squire Hicks?
Yes.
Squire Muse?
Yes.
Squire Pennington?
Yes.
Squire Saltzman?
Yes.
Squire Thompson?
Yes.
Squire Whitehead?
Yes.
Judge Tall?
Yes, motion passes. All right, so we have some time of comments, and we'll start with our county attorney.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
All right, thank you. How about our county clerk?
Nothing.
Okay, are you sure? Okay. All right, we'll go around our magistrates then, and let's see, Magistrate Yates is not here today, so we'll start with Magistrate Saltzman.
Thank you. I just want to remind everyone of the fair that's going on. As Dwight mentioned, we had a farm-to-table dinner last night. It was excellent. Mr. Pennington might have went out and rode some rides. I'm not sure. He talked like he might. My wife and I walked around a little while, and we were going to watch some of the demolition derby, but the sun was in my eyes, and I forgot my glasses, so I didn't want to have to squint and watch. The only other thing I have is laid a good friend to rest today, Mr. Jim Reeser, and I just want to express my condolences to his family. That's it.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Patsy Whitehead.
Also want to remind folks to get your families together and your friends and head out to the fair. I think this is unique because it didn't rain the first night of the fair this year, so we were fortunate with that. We may get a little bit of rain later, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. Also want to remind everyone that July 17th at 3:30, public is invited. That's the Resources and Community Support Committee meeting on the 3rd floor here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Fred Clem.
Yes, the next Finance Committee meeting will be Tuesday, July the 18th at 3:30 across the hall. And also on behalf of myself and Magistrate Saltzman, we're pleased to announce the first Town Hall Forum to be held on August the 22nd, 2023. This is a change from the original date of the 29th because we have a conflict. We've moved to the fiscal court meeting, so we'll be meeting on the 22nd at 5:30 p.m. And thanks to the hospitality of Mayor Richard Cerisi, the meeting will be held at the former West Point School located at 209 North 13th Street in West Point. We're working on the format right now, and more information will be forthcoming soon. And again, we want to thank the mayor for his hospitality, and we look forward to the event. Mr. Saltzman, you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to say how excited I am that we're going to be starting the town hall. Like Fred said, we're still working on the format, and it's going to be a learning process. So I encourage anyone that may have ideas on what they'd like to see the town hall look like before and after. Feel free to reach out to any of us. And thank you again to West Point and the mayor for helping us have this in West Point. I'm excited for West Point to host our first town hall.
Yeah, usually he's here.
Yeah, I know.
But I looked out there and I don't see him. Okay.
Yeah, he's at Fort Knox today. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He said if he showed up today, we'd have to be in a tux, and he didn't want to do that. So,
yeah.
But we appreciate him. And also want to remind the folks: don't drink and drive, don't text and drive. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Magistrate Aaron Pennington.
I just wanted to remind everybody about the fair going on right now. I wanted to give a shout out to Big Josh and then the inmates that are out there taking care of the fairgrounds, keeping it clean. I know we had a pretty big turnout last night at the fair. It was very clean. I rode around with Pat Elmore. He's on the fair board, and he was just commenting on the different changes, and it seemed like everybody was having a good time. So definitely want to go and check out the changes. I did not ride any rides last night. Spent too much time staring into the sun. So I do know that there are a lot of good changes coming to the fairgrounds, new bleachers and different things that they're doing. So it's awesome. You should check it out.
Yeah, I think the fairground has been a bit of a partnership, teamwork. I think our road department, Dwight, helped with some gravel and different things that they do. And yeah, so that's, again, Scotty's was helping out with that, road department, did you say $120,000 worth of asphalt for that? So 900 tons of rock. Wow, okay. Yeah, you could tell.
4 lanes going in.
Yeah, I was going to say there's 4 lanes going in, so that's really nice.
Speeds things up significantly,
yes.
That's for sure. So, right. Yeah, and again, Big Josh, he's been out there with the inmates and does all kinds of work out there. So it's, and then of course the fairgrounds board themselves, all the work that they do to put things together. So it's a joint venture, so take advantage of it, everyone. Get out there and check it out. All right, thank you. Was that all? Did you have? Okay. Magistrate E.G. Thompson.
As a result of all that hard work, it is among the very best county fairs in the state. And we have a lot of community people that contribute, that get out there and make sure it happens, and do a lot of physical work, and find the people who can make it happen at a high level. Another thing I'd like to point out that's quality in Kentucky and right here in Hardin County is our water. So our water commission is to be commended for the quality of water that we have here. J.D. Powers and Associates in a recent report stated that Kentucky's tap water is ranked number 1 in the United States. And it ranks the top water across the country based on the criteria of quality, reliability, price, and customer service. So we have much to be proud of with our water districts and water here in Kentucky. So thank you.
Yeah, very good, thank you. Was that Water District 2 or Water District 1, Mike? All right.
It's been voted by different organizations as the best tasting water in Kentucky.
All right. It's good to know. It's something to be proud of.
We are very proud.
Yeah.
And it's something taken for granted.
Yes. All right. Yes, Magistrate Larry Hicks.
I have nothing.
All right, thank you. And Magistrate Kenny Muse.
Just wanted to remind everyone the next Public Works Committee meeting will be next week, Wednesday, the 19th of July at 3:30. Thank you.
All right, very good, thank you. All right, just again, the committee meetings, you heard several of those mentioned all next week. I think Monday through Thursday at 3:30 p.m. here. And of course, our next fiscal court meeting at 5:30 on July 25th. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned.